Welcome, welcome, welcome. Getting started minutes ago. Getting started. Very happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, Flow Friday. Or still Thursday if you're in the United States. We are about to get started. Hope you're all, hope you remembered your Valentines. If you haven't, make sure you reach out afterwards. I hope I help a marriage here or two, gentlemen. Make sure you send some flowers. All right. We are about to get started. Yeah, drop a hi in the chat. My Valentine's Day is Raya. Fantastic. Uh, sensational. Let's get started. Flow Friday, episode 33. And it's Friday, the 14th of February here in Bali in Indonesia today for me. So back home for a little bit, for a few days, and then off to a conference in Barcelona next week. So we'll give you an update on that one too. Top news in the world of AI. We'll cover thinking ahead, what's coming up. It is extraordinary. I saw some things in this last week that is quite mind-blowing. I'm going to share you exciting new feature update that we've got coming around voice mode. You'll see that today. We'll get into some of the fundamentals and a little bit of show and tell of voice mode as well. So things are moving pretty fast in this world of AI, there's no doubt. And this image on the right, I'll probably keep coming back to this one quite a fair bit. This is the situational awareness that has been released by Leopold Aschenbrenner, and it's showing like where we are right now in this whole world of AI. And you may have seen Sam Altman came out earlier this week, last week, in a conversation about where they're at with coding when it comes to their models. Let's watch this video.
The progress over the recent scale is quite amazing. Our very first reasoning model was like a top 1 millionth competitive programmer in the world. People thought that was very impressive. It's like, wow, an AI, it's, in the millionth best people that do this. That's pretty good. We then had a model that got to like top 10,000. O3, which we talked about publicly in December, is the 175th best competitive programmer in the world. I think our internal benchmark is now around 50, and maybe we'll hit number 1 by the end of this year. So that's like an amazing rate of scale for more compute in this new paradigm, and we don't see any signs of that stopping.
Right. O3 is at the 175th best competitive programmer in the world. They're about 50th at the moment internally. We are going to see the ability for software engineers to have an AI agent that supports them in the work that they're doing that is at the top competitive coder in the world by the end of this year. And some of the reasons for this is the ability to handle things like test time compute, where when the actual prompts go in, the AI is able to consider this at a much deeper reasoning level with the information into the model itself. And there's also another paper that was released this week that talks about a process that allows the AI to actually think internally on its model itself without the utilization of additional tokens. This is going to change the speed at which the quality of the models improve. And the moment where we see the models that are able to improve themselves, then the race takes off. Now, during the week, we got a very special preview of a new application that assists developers that we'll be trialing in the upcoming weeks, not released to the public yet. And this is going to change the way we develop software. The difference between this top level coding is like 100x difference, 100x. Like, this is insane. And what we're going to see is naturally there'll be a big impact on science, technology, engineering, and math, because that's really where the models are doing the best work when it comes to this type of competitive coding. But that's then going to transition down into work as well. It's kind of hard to fathom what comes next. What I saw this week was just mind-blowing with what will happen with software development. So things are going to get faster. There's Peter Diamandis released a couple of years ago. He was saying things like by 2030, the ability to take an existing software system, give it to the AI, and then within 2 days, it would be able to replicate it. Now, the really some leading minds that I get the opportunity to talk to in this space, they said to me on Wednesday, it'll probably be 2028, not 2030, like Peter Diamandis was saying. So do expect the speed of change to just come faster and faster and faster. And so if you're ever feeling like that moment of overwhelm, there's so much change, there's so much news going on in this space, that's okay. You're just as human as the next person. Keep joining us here on Flow Fridays, and I'm sure I'll be getting you into the latest of what's happening. And we'll be running a mini internal hackathon in the upcoming weeks around utilizing these new tools versus just using the current AI tools that are on the market at the moment when it comes to software development. And then we'll release that for everyone to see what's going on in the world of AI, but it is going to move fast. Now this presents quite an interesting challenge of thinking ahead and what's going to happen next. And with this speed of change, there's no doubt that it's going to massively impact business. But the other actually interesting area for us too is looking at the education system. And our view is that what's happening, the rate of change that we see in business, and we're all in a little bubble at the tip of the spear here, seeing things going on that the majority of the world is just not aware of, right? It's because the diffusion of technology and the diffusion of usage of AI is actually not as deep as what we might think it is, because we're in it and we're building agents and doing all sorts of cool things. The reality is that, approximately 100 million people using OpenAI's ChatGPT is actually a small number compared to the entire population. And then within that, majority of people are not using it fully or properly because they're just unable to ask questions or articulate with specificity. And so as a result, the quality of the promptings is not that high. Now, you've all got the advantage because you're building agents and you're sitting at the head of it. But I think we've all got a duty to really help the next generation coming through and the current generation, whichever generation you're in, to make sure that the knowledge around how to utilize AI is always increasing. Now, we've got a number of programs coming out, but some exciting things have happened even in just the last 6 days. We've had meetings with 2 universities, one that's international with 75,000 students, a college from the United States, and our local council in Cebu City. And in all these meetings, here's the net outcome. The Cebu City Council has, we met with the mayor, you can see some photos there. We shared with the mayor our intentions a couple of weeks ago about we want to bring a program to the Philippines. We've got a huge goal to train 100,000 Filipinos in AI and automation. And it was put out there. It's a big goal. It's a type of goal that you just can't do yourself. So as that saying goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we sat down with a blank sheet of paper and said, hey, let's do something. And the mayor said, thanks so much for coming to see me. How can I help you? Now I'm sharing this because we want to inspire you to be able to do the same in your areas. And a couple of weeks later, we met again, and this is the photos from that meeting. And he immediately signed a slip that sent us down to essentially the local college and said, make this happen. And it's really impressive to see the speed of government moving when it's clear that this is for the betterment of all. And by the end of the meeting, we'd agreed that we'll create the content for a 3-month certification on AI agent creation and automation. So which will be 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, just building AI agents and automations to understand it and be able to practically deliver it in the work environment, and then a 1 month work immersion program for those students. The beauty of this is that the Cebu City Council is going to give this for free, which is amazing. So we're creating a program that will be free for students. And when I say students, people who have graduated from school, from college, or are in the workforce. It doesn't matter, so long as the high school education has been completed. And with that, start to change this next generation. Now, the cool thing is too, the mayor has said there's like 80 neighborhoods in Cebu City, all have, they're called barangays in the Philippines. They've all got a barangay captain, like a leader. And the mayor's going to get starting 10 people from each barangay. So 800 people is his target as the initial start, which is huge. We've got now, the next problem to solve is how we actually scale that out, but we'll be able to do it through both in person as well as live and online. 5:15 tomorrow morning, I'm meeting with a college out of the university, sorry, a college out of the United States, who will meeting with all their board to talk about bringing our content into their curriculum so that we can get AI agent creation and automation as part of their university degrees. Another university with 75,000 students who are also, the conversation happened on Saturday last week to do the similar thing. They're quite well connected, this Union College. And another university from Cebu who's actually going to start a 2-year associate diploma in AI agents and automation integration. So this is wild. This next phase of job creation, being able to actually get the talent is going to be a challenge for many people. But we think the only way for that to occur is that we've got to educate. So, and in addition to this, we'll at Multiply Tech and Go Team, we'll be supplying free inference for all the students and the teachers with a brand new tool that you're going to hear more about in the upcoming weeks that you're also all going to get access to as well. Now, we're packaging this whole program up so that we can open source it, so that we can give it to get it into people's hands that would like to help positively impact the education system. I actually think we need to get all the way down into schools next, because the kids coming out of school, if the teachers are unaware of just what's happening with AI, they're not able to actually teach it. And there's one of the schools that do what's called on-the-job training with us at Go Team in the people business are actually their teachers want to come in on their holidays and do on-the-job training with us so that they can learn these new skills to then apply it back. So I hope that inspires you, and that if you'd like to do the same, please do reach out to us or drop it in the chat. I think someone already has. Thank you so much. I think we're going back to that one. Janet, thank you. Hey, Matt, yeah, we'd love to chat with you more about this so that we can get this education out. All right, feature update time. Talk to me, Goose, if you know the old Top Gun and Maverick movies. This voice mode, we're going to have a look at it today. It's in beta. It's the first version of it. You can now talk to your AI agents and they will talk back to you. This is wild. It's been based on the agent profile that you're talking to specifically. And the transcription is actually recorded and presented in the thread as well. I'm going to show that to you. Now, this is a beta release, so there are a few limitations, and there's plenty more features coming with this. At the moment, you can't select a different voice. It's just the one voice in the agent builder, but this has been scheduled for the next sprint. So you can choose the type of AI that you like to talk to throughout the day. Cannot access the knowledge base yet, but this will also be scheduled for the next sprint. So we'll be attaching that retrieval augmented generation to it so that you can talk to that agent that you've made extra intelligent by adding more information to it. And the other things like the tools like web search and workflow execution, task delegation are not there yet, but they're coming as well. Now, why are we doing this is probably the big question, because I think that's what's going on, but the why is really important. The future of this at work is we're going to actually be talking to our agents right throughout the day, and actually delegating the work. Now, if you were here last week, I think it was, for the multi-agent orchestration, so the agentic workflows, that essentially allowed us to chat to the director agent, who would then be able to send those instructions off to manager agents. I think we only did one layer, but manager agents who then have a range of individual worker agents that can then, what's coming soon, is be connected to tools to take actions on different systems. So the future of this is where you'll end up talking to one AI agent, and it will go off and select the agents and delegate the tasks to do the work that you've given to the actual agent. So you might end up rattling off your 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 instructions all at one time to your director agent, and it will find the managers and workers that are best suited. Now, let me know in the chat what you think about the image on the left. This here is something we're working on, which is a button on your desktop, like an intercom, that you can click, talk to give the directions, and then the AI will run off and do the activities. If you like the idea of having a button to just click so you can talk to it, or on your mobile phone, an app that you can just talk to, and then your agents can work in the background. If you like that idea, drop a 1 in the chat. Love to see if you're interested in having that. That'd be cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised, right? It's gonna be super handy. Imagine being, let's say you're out on the road, you're doing some sales or whatever your activity is. Maybe you're off at your kid's school event, and you realize that you got that idea, some work to do, and you're able to just talk to your agent and have it execute in the background. This is a whole new world coming to us very, very soon. Thank you to Anthony. Love to see how we can partner and do something similar in New Zealand. Awesome. Would love to do that. Thank you, Anthony. Chris has asked, Xero announced last week that their voice-activated beta version, Jax, just ask Xero, that's a great name, hey, is in testing phase and will be able to ask Xero to raise invoices following debtors and setup. That's awesome. We're going to see so much in voice coming. And one of the cool things, I think, even when you see different platforms release voice, what we've got coming will allow you to just extend anything at such a rapid rate. And especially with the new computer control that we've got coming. And we'll be testing that internally in the upcoming week, actually. Yeah, coming from Multiply.tech at least in alpha in the upcoming week, and I would think probably only in a couple more weeks after that or sooner will be the beta testing of the new computer control. So, and that's where if you've seen Operator from OpenAI at $200 per month, where you can chat to it and it will control your computer and execute the tasks. What we've got coming from Multiply.tech, you'll be able to do exactly the same, except where OpenAI is restricted to the United States only, this will be available for the world. And we're even releasing a single-use license of that for free. And that's especially so that we can help kids at school to be able to understand how to use AI, how to use computer control. And then there's a very special piece of it, which we'll be submitting a provisional patent on, because it's something that no one else in the world is doing at the moment. So I can't tell you what it is, but what I can tell you is that it will change work forever. It'll change the way that you're able to help speed up onboarding for team members, to understand how to use computer programs, how to do the work that they need to do on a regular basis, and hit your goals at such a rapid pace. So I'm beyond excited to show that to you. The Ray Inbox, which is our AI chat and live chat in alpha, we've got a few more features to finish off before we'll be ready to send that to beta. So for those that are hanging out for it, thank you for your patience. We're not far. One of the key things in doing live chat is you need your service level agreements, your SLAs. And so the administrators can now set those. They can set times on expectations of the delivery of the result, because as much as we would like AI to answer 99%, the reality is you still need to roll over to a human at times. And we just need basically some of the advanced features that you would see in live chat brought into the system itself. There's also a new dashboard there, which is showing all those SLA targets. So there's a clearer view on performance, which is super exciting. And there's a range of other items as well. Okay. Because things are actually changing so fast, and there's all this overwhelm with different applications, and it's like, should I use this? Should I use that? One of the challenges in for any business is to not get overwhelmed and to be able to take one step back and look at how you will apply AI agents and automations, and then very soon computer use in a way that's actually going to get effective outcomes in an organization. And the key here is to not get lost in the technology, but actually take a step back and think about the fundamentals of business. There's a lot of people out there that might say, try this application, try that, and before you know it, it's just you're not getting any work done. And so what I'd like to help with our thinking here, and this is part of our upcoming courses, training, and also what will be released to the universities, is to look at business from a simplified and structured way so that you can get the scale. And I'd like to think of this as really, what's old is new again. It's some of these fundamentals. And that, interestingly, the deeper you get into it, the more that you realize that human intelligence and artificial intelligence are very, very, very similar. And if we look at even just the definition of intelligence, it's the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills, the ability to acquire knowledge and apply knowledge and skills. And what I'll do now is I'll share this structure so that we can look at, what are the fundamentals that help businesses to actually scale and people to exceed in the work that they're doing. What we see in organizations that scale really well and inspire people is that they've got a very clear vision. And that vision out into the future. They've also got a clear mission or purpose. Sometimes we see these two wrapped together in what's called a massively transformational purpose. But either way, getting clarity on that future. Now, a mission or a purpose is not a goal. It's not something that you can ever complete. Like ours is to help businesses to scale and people to exceed. We'll never complete that. It's not a goal. It's our reason for being. And then the next part that not all organizations have clear or live by are values. These help us to make the decisions on when we get into any situation. The next part that's quite rare also to see are frameworks. So examples of frameworks, like we use the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, 13 Behaviors of Trust, Nonviolent Communication, the 4 Agreements. We've got about 14 different core frameworks that we use. And all of the ones that we use are based around communication at the end of the day. Similarly in sales, you might have a framework for sales. You might use something like a solution sales framework, like spin selling or helping clients succeed, or one of the others that actually helps the individual in sales to understand how to navigate through the complexity of a sale. Because if you're in solution selling, it's not a linear path. So therefore you need a framework to help you make your decisions. So having frameworks is very powerful for understanding and powerful for making decisions. The next thing that we have in businesses that scale is you get your strategy, the strategic direction that you're heading. And from that, you distill down into what are your metrics, your goals. Now, we use objectives, key results, and X factors, as well as KPIs and PIs and KRAs and RAs, if you get into the full detail in the KPI methodology. But the main thing here is that you've got metrics that are measurable and goals that you can win at, so that there's a reason to do the work that you do. Now, the next phase after you have your goals is to look at systems, processes, procedures, and steps. And a system is essentially a number of processes in a business. And a process, if you think about the process map, each of those blocks is a procedure. And in those blocks, in the procedures, is where you find the steps of how to do an actual task. Now, as James Clear shares in his book, atomic habits, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. I'll say that again. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. And think about that. Any time that we're not achieving the outcome that we desire, the reason is our systems are not matching to the goal. And that's the zone where the optimization is required. Now, when speaking with any business leader, and when I ask them, how well are your systems, processes, and procedures and steps documented, they tend to go, yeah, we've got some, but it's not as detailed as it could be. Now, when we think about the human, if we want the human to execute and deliver on goals at not just good or excellent, but outstanding levels, they're going to need to learn how to do it first. And so your documentation is incredibly important. In fact, it's just the foundation for everything. Because once you've got those and it's very clear, then we're going to use software programs to help us to execute. Now, that's the great thing about humans, is that we find new and create new tools and better ways of doing things. And this is an interesting and somewhat frightening number. In 2023, organizations worldwide used an average of 112 software as a service applications between 2015 and 2023. So, we all use lots of SaaS products, that are different in the different departments. And so that's also important to understand what software you're using. And most organizations will do an audit regularly to remove software that they're not using. And then they add new software, and then we've often got the learning challenge of how you actually learn to use that software. We've got a solution for that one coming shortly. Now, as we move from this static documentation, we move into what are called live systems in action. And so our live systems in action also see an adjustment in this written documentation, which the human needs to understand in order to achieve the goals. Now, in businesses that scale really well, we see that processes convert over into workflows so that they can actually be tracked and seen, and the process happens smoothly. Then procedures convert into work instructions. These are the live documents, essentially, for that particular body of work, of the procedure. Now, the main difference here is that you start to get variables into the work instructions. And it's in these variables. So, for example, if I was going to create an invoice in Xero, that's a good example, I'm going to need to know a variable of the company name, a variable of the products that we're selling. And so the work instructions are essentially bringing the procedure to life. And then within those procedures, you get steps. And those steps are what turn into the live activity, which are the tasks. Now, whether you're a human or you're an AI agent, you're going to need to know this information in order to be able to execute effectively and deliver upon the goals. And so it's, even if you just took this as a snapshot, to start thinking about what do your systems, processes, and procedures and steps look like, get those documented, because for whether it's the human or the AI, both are going to need this information. And just like, human intelligence or artificial intelligence, the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and achieve those new outcomes is critical. Get the new skills and achieve the results. Now, when we come into looking at the entire organization, we could look at this from the pillars of the standard pillars that we see in business. So overarching is strategy. Often the exec team's working on the top level strategy. And then we can simplify business by looking at the departments of marketing, sales, customer service. And then you get operations, or you might call it product or service delivery. Essentially, that's where we're building the widgets or the things that we offer to our customers to sell. That's the zone where the creation occurs. I'm going to come back to this box in a second. Then we've got IT, HR, and finance, to keep it quite simple. Now, naturally, it breaks down into different teams, and you can have different specialization strains and so forth. But if we keep it simple to begin with, we can just think of these pillars. Now, I'll put it to you that we have a new department coming in organizations, and that is AI plus automation integration, because we're going to need all of our software systems talking to each other and integrated and utilizing AI agents to actually help deliver upon the outcomes that we desire. Now, bringing all of this together is the customer journey, where we start thinking about from the entry point of a customer in marketing, where that lead is being captured and then converted to sale, and you've got customer service and your operations or your service delivery, all the way through to finance, to making sure that we're getting the billing occurring. That's the customer journey. And in an organization, the clearer this is, the greater help that can be achieved between departments. And then underlying this will be the goals and metrics to deliver upon, for example, marketing, and then the systems, processes, and procedures. And of course, this extrapolates all the way out where you're seeing, and in each of these departments, or your goals, metrics, systems, and processes, and so forth. So it's quite a big job, isn't it? There's a lot going on. And if we were to even just look at marketing just alone, what a, 10 systems here. You can have things like market research and analysis, which breaks down into a whole range of processes, procedures, and tasks to do that activity well and with a level of frequency so that you can continue to be moving forward and delivering on goals, especially as your goals start to increase. And here are some others. Content creation also can be broken down to a lot more. Search engine optimization, social media marketing, email marketing, pay-per-click. This is just a short list, and marketing is an incredibly complex area. The same goes for all sections of our businesses. There's a lot of detail behind it. And so the reason I share this is because as we move into this world of AI agents and agentic workflows, the automations between software programs, and then computer use, where the agents are controlling the computer where APIs are not available, for it to work really well and for a business to scale, we're going to need greater clarity in each of these areas. And this is why I'll say we'll go back to the fundamentals on a regular basis, or what's old is new again, is essentially getting clear in your own organization what all these different areas for documentation are. Because the AI agents are not going to be able to automatically think of everything that needs to get done and then run off and execute it. We probably all would desire an agent that you could say, just do my work for the day, right? And then it just goes off and does everything. Well, it won't know how to do these things unless we give it the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Think about that again. The AI agents will not know what to do unless we give them the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So the big value add that we all have to contribute is to think about how to train the agents and actually get this simplicity into it. So documentation, or data is going to be critical for our agents to work well. Okay, that's a little snippet. If you like that one and you'd like a copy of this structure, please just let us know in the chat, drop your email in the chat, and we'll make sure we get this out to you. We'll also be publishing this one in the Multiply Academy. If you haven't already registered, please head over to academy.multiplai.tech, and we'll also post in there, and I've got a video about this one in a bit more detail as well. Please also do get this into the hands of your team members at work and start thinking to help them think in this way. Chances are a team member, even if they've done some form of business studies, won't have seen a layout in this way to simplify it. So please give that free access to all your team members over on academy.multiplai.tech. Okie dokie. Let's have a look now at, I think we're on to the cool and exciting stuff now, because we all love to see the technology moving forward at pace. So let's go check out the new voice mode with Raya. Now, once again, this is the beta version of this one, and it is about, for us, getting the pieces of the puzzle released, and Raya is just going to keep getting better and better as we get into the really advanced stuff that's coming in 2025. Now, what you'll see here that's different in the control area, now we've probably all used speech mode before, where we can talk to Rhea and it will translate what we've said and put it into a prompt in the chat. The next zone we move to now, of course, is the full two-way conversation. So let's check out voice mode. Hey, I think it's Valentine's Day today. You got any tips for me on what I should do on Valentine's Day?
Hi there. I'm Rhea, here to assist the Go team members. Valentine's Day is indeed a special occasion for many. If you're looking for tips, consider doing something thoughtful for someone you care about. This could be a romantic dinner, a heartfelt note, or a small gift that shows you know them well. The key is to make it personal and meaningful. How do you usually like to celebrate special occasions?
Well, actually, I'm thinking about my 6-year-old daughter. She just loves love and loves Valentine's Day. And I would like to do something to celebrate with her this afternoon because she's just so into it. What thoughts do you have for that one?
That sounds like a wonderful way to spend Valentine's Day. For your daughter, you could try crafting homemade Valentine's cards together. Kids often enjoy expressing their creativity, and it can be a fun bonding activity. You could also bake and decorate some heart-shaped cookies or have a little tea party with her favorite treats. Whatever you choose, she'll likely appreciate the time spent together. What do you think she would enjoy most?
I'll turn off the microphone. And what we can do here is click on View Transcript, and we'll see all of that information available to us as well. And so we can then copy and paste or utilize that information. Now, that's a bit of a fun example, right? And he actually gave me some great ideas. She would love a tea party. That would be great. I'm not sure if I've got time to bake the cookies today, but definitely the tea party will be fun. Now, where can we use this? Well, voice is going to become such a powerful component of everything that we do. And so the main thing I want you to lock onto here is that we will end up using voice soon to delegate tasks to our agents. And that throughout the day, rather than sort of needing to pause, stop, and let's say add tasks to task management systems or go off and do portions of work, you'll actually be talking to the AI, and it will be your teammate, or that you've got your one main AI teammate as a director that will then be able to delegate tasks to the sub-agents as well. I think work is going to change forever. We've also been playing around with voice in other areas as well within our business, where we really love the ability to drive high levels of engagement and morale. And at Go Team, we use a system for our one-on-ones and our metrics. It's our OKRX platform. The other area that we are experimenting in right now, I'm going to bring up another screen, is around how we further enhance our leaders and team members when they're having their one-on-ones. So an example of this one, I'm just going to bring it onto the screen, is where in our one-on-ones, we have a structured check-in process. We've got an AI coach that gives us insights into how to better work as a leader around coaching and what to say. What's really powerful about these sessions, though, afterwards, is that there's a full transcript and analysis of how I did as a leader to help me improve. And we're now also using voice in there so that post that session analysis, I can get coaching for me as a leader with the AI. Here's what it looks like.
Hey Matt, Alex here.
Still in beta. And it gets a little confused with other microphones. Let me just give it one more refresh.
Hey Matt, Alex here. Okay Matt, Alex here. It seems like the one-on-one with Yulmar was quite comprehensive. covering both challenges and potential solutions. I'm here to provide feedback on your performance during the session. Are you ready to dive into the feedback?
You're going to give me feedback? Actually, sounds a little bit judgmental.
I understand it can feel that way, Matt. Think of it more as an opportunity for growth and development. The feedback is aimed at supporting you to enhance your leadership skills and effectiveness in one-on-ones. Shall we proceed?
Okay, let's do it.
Great. Starting with the positives. You showed a strong commitment to problem solving and a proactive approach in supporting Yulmar with resources, like arranging for a MacBook Pro. This aligns with the habit of seek first to understand, then to be understood, from the 7 Habits framework. Would you like to discuss this point?
Actually, I'm more interested in learning about what I could do to improve.
Absolutely, Matt. One area to improve is ensuring that the conversation stays focused and structured. There were moments where the discussion seemed to drift, which might have contributed to the feeling of overwhelm for Yulmar. Try to keep the session aligned with the key agenda points and use non-violent communication techniques to address concerns. How does that sound to you?
Look, that's helpful at a high level. Can you give me a specific example of where I could have done better?
Certainly. In the meeting, discussions about the AI models and future plans were quite detailed. It might have been more effective to break down the information and connect it directly to Yulmar's immediate concerns and goals. By creating a clearer path linking his tasks to the broader strategy, it could make the session more actionable and less overwhelming. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. That's really helpful. Thank you.
I'm glad you found it helpful.
Right. Now, I mean, this is a real scenario where with the team member, we were talking about some pretty complex areas, and the reality was I wasn't connecting it back to the strategy. So as a leader, I was down in the what needs to be done, and I wasn't connecting to the why, which is always really powerful when we want to unleash the full potential of a team member, that we're not just we're not just sort of telling what to do next, but if you can connect to the why, then you get more creative thinking that comes out, greater structure, and even more powerful. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are when you see that. A few people have already commented already, already saying, you guys, no more excuses. Yeah, we really are there to help raise people up. Because one of the challenges we get with leaders is that, or people going from a technical role into management, and now they need to learn leadership, is people get sent off to leadership training, and then and that can be an amazing experience. However, you forget 50% of what you'll learn within 1 hour and 90% within a week, unless we have reinforcement around the learning itself when we apply it. So here, what we're doing is giving just-in-time leadership coaching and training in order to be able to help people to exceed. So very much in internal sort of alpha at the moment as we line out the kinks on this one. As you saw, there was a little bit there where it didn't quite say all the words. But this is an example of where we're using retrieval augmented generation, so like knowledge base, that's actually delivered immediately from the session itself. So the session gets recorded, it gets transcribed, analyzed, and the particular agent that's my coach is actually trained on the frameworks. Remember, I mentioned frameworks earlier, that are important within our business. So for us, the overarching frameworks, it was referencing the 7 habits of highly effective people and nonviolent communication. And essentially, whatever frameworks that you would have in your organization, the AI could then be trained on in order to help ensure that the coaching is aligned to the approach within the business. It's not generic by any means. It's got to be specific. And yeah, fascinating tool. It's already been incredibly powerful with the text-based coaching and analysis, but really voice is that next transition path here. All right, cool. Let's let's double check the chats. And we've got a few the mind blown emoji. Fantastic. That's sensational. We've got, have you ever seen the level 11 lift sketch highlighting the difficulties with speech mode recognizing accents? The sketch is specifically Scottish accents. Does anyone else find that when using speech mode and not having a US accent? Yeah, a little bit, not too much for me. There's been incredible advancements in speech to be able to handle these accents. Whisper does an incredible job with really thick Scottish and Irish accents. But I think there's no doubt lots of testing. And one thing is for sure, it's only going to get better and better and better. Yeah, Anthony's saying, help them understand the vision. I think keep connecting to that. Lena's saying, incredible. Anthony, this technology will also provide feedback for coaches, counselors, and therapists. So you can see where that goes, right? And so imagine post, especially when you've got frameworks, this is the key behind it, that when a coach or a therapist is actually communicating based on a framework of communication, you can share that with the AI, and the AI then have the ability to effectively communicate. Richard's saying, can we upload a video meeting to AI agents to review and provide advice, as Matt just demonstrated? Yeah, so when voice connects to the knowledge base, which is the retrieval augmented generation component, then you could essentially build the same thing within Raya, where you could have an AI agent, and in the chat, you'd put your frameworks into the knowledge base and give that agent the instructions of what it's meant to do there. So it's a post-meeting coach, and put your frameworks into the knowledge base, and then go back over just into the general chat, and that's where the video could be uploaded in the chat, and then you're having a conversation with it. Now, we've got to look at our latest level of transcription on that, but essentially, you would come in here and just get out of the voice mode. And be able to upload it into the chat here as a file. Now, we'll need to do a bit of testing on this one, but that essentially is how you could do the same thing. You could upload the video, it would translate, and then from there, you could engage in voice mode to get that post meeting feedback. And then, yeah, emotions, like objective feedback, right? So, and the interesting, although there's not a lot of studies on it, but from what I've seen so far in 2024, is that people are more comfortable getting into the detail with the AI because they don't feel the judgment coming back. I was only having a laugh earlier about feeling judged to see how it would respond. And Jacqueline is saying, would you be happy to share the 14 books that form part of your framework? Yeah, I'd love to do that. In fact, we're actually going to share all of that over in Multiply Academy under the Go Team area. But some of them are books, some of them are frameworks. Let me see if I can quickly pull these up. Excuse me for one sec. And we've got lots of like diagrams for these frameworks as well. And let me see, I was just kind of putting them all together the other day. And but very, very quickly, here they are. So seven habits of highly effective people, 13 behaviors of trust, which comes from the book Leading at the Speed of Trust, living above the line, psychological safety, the 4 agreements, nonviolent communication, OKRX, focus around follow on course until successful, our plan, attack, celebrate method for evoking flow state, the SAS hourglass, our results engagement morale framework, execution framework, our change the formula, change the result, employee engagement, why, how, what, crossing the chasm, bouncing it back, love or fear, psychological safety of doubled up, comfort zone, adult learning are all in there. So there's a lot. We will, and there's all these beautiful beautiful posters that can be printed out and so forth. We'll be releasing all that into Multiply Academy. Cool. Richard's saying it'd be a great demo to show how the AI handles aggression. Yeah, let's do that for fun in the future, to handle objection handling, especially when you look at it, like in sales, when you've got a framework around objection handling, you could then role play all those challenging situations. Or if you're in customer service and you've got a framework, you can role play those challenging situations as well. Cool. All right. I hope that sparks a few ideas for you and the future of what's coming with AI and how we're going to utilize it more and more on a daily basis. And that, it's to me that the future for education is actually super bright, because these tools are actually AI is going to allow us to advance faster. And I think there's a lot of concern about the gap that will happen from people leaving school, college, university, and then getting into the real world. Will there be jobs for the graduates? I believe that when we get this technology diffused into business as fast as possible, the gaps actually won't remain for very long, because the speed at which people can learn is going to be at an incredibly rapid pace. Now, that requires leaders like ourselves to actually put structure into an organization. And what I also believe is that those organizations that get clear on vision, mission, values, frameworks, clear on their goals, the systems, process, procedures, and steps, are going to be the best set up to really leverage and get incredible results and actually attract the top talent. Also, strong belief here is that where we will get to in 2025, where every team member has their own individual voice AI agent that helps them to support the work that they do, we'll find that my hypothesis here is that the longevity of a team member at work is going to extend, because there is going to be so much more joy in getting through the levels of work, because they're supported by their teammates or their AI teammates to help them actually achieve their results. In addition to that is where an individual who is, let's say, headhunted by another organization, and the team member will end up saying, that sounds interesting, but do you have all this AI technology to help me do my work and deliver results? And if they say no, then the individual is going to go, no, thanks. That sounds too hard. This is amazing. Where I work is on the leading edge of the technology and applying it, and it makes it really simple. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, team. Academy.multiplai.tech. Please sign up there. We've got coming in mid-March the new advanced workshops. So this is actually coming. We're working on the certification of an AI automation integration consultant, as well as the AI automation integration engineers. Those two tracks for education through the system, we're working on having those fully certified through the Global Association of Quality Management. So this course in itself is being globally certified. And with it will come daily live stream support from our engineers. There's a new cohort of engineers joining the team. And we'll see each day of the week a particular core focus. On Mondays will be marketing with AI and automation. Because like I shared with you before, as we broke down to all those different systems, there is so much that we can apply AI agents and automation to. It'll be like forever. And this is why I believe that there'll end up being this new department and role, which is around AI automation integration in every business, because there's so many different systems and software that you use that there'll need to be some expertise in the business to build this out. And there's a lot of people on this call that are already building up that expertise. And I think that you'll find that the pace of change, you want to delegate more so that you can stay in the strategic zone and delegate it to a technician to go and set these things up. So Mondays on marketing, that the structure is there's 1 hour live stream and then a deep dive into the automation integration for that particular pillar of marketing. And we'll release an advanced template with AI agents that are all set up and ready to go, so that you can copy and paste that, put it in your organization, make a few tweaks to allow it to suit for you, and then start getting some powerful results. And after that hours session, it is much more sort of technical deep dive on these things. We'll then have a little break and then have 50 minutes just open Q&A available from the engineer each day. And then this will be replicated, the same approach. Tuesday will be sales and customer service, Wednesday will be data, Thursday will be talent and HR, and Friday will be finance. So this is coming to Multiply Academy from mid-March. So more to share on this as the weeks lead up. We'll be doing it'll be our soft launch in mid-March, and then the official big launch is happening in June, as some pretty incredible leaders from the world are jumping on to help promote this globally. So, and if you'd like to obtain an AI automation integration engineer for your organization, we can also help you with that through GoTeam. So looking forward to seeing your businesses scale and everyone in your organizations exceed. I think we're just about to run out of time. A couple of questions there. Janet saying, can there be one on blogging and article writing as well? And I had some trouble with my blog writer this morning. Yeah, so the Mondays in marketing will cover all aspects, including blog writing. And certainly love to be able to assist you there. I'm sure we'll definitely do more topics on that. We've also got a few of our previous sessions on Flow Fridays on that topic. So all those videos are available over in Multiply Academy. But if someone can reach out to Janet, one of the team reach out. I think Jen's already on it. Fantastic. And Reza will help as well. Who is this for? This course is for people who would like to become AI automation consultants working with businesses to help them scale. It'll be for the chief AI officers in organization who would like to understand strategically how this works as well, and for the AI automation integration engineers who in business will end up working with the Raya Pro and our other applications in a no-code and a low-code environment. So in that role, it really is for people who have completed some form of software engineering degree. That's what we're focusing on to actually bring that level of skill to the market. We'll also have 2 additional tracks that will have the same access to this information, one for flow engineers and one for data specialists, who will actually have a bigger focus on the Wednesday sessions. As what comes to pass is the reality is that the data is so important in an organization to help you get your results. When are we anticipating launching of automations to the public? It's going to be in March as well at this point in time. What's the pricing? We're figuring that out at the moment because we need to run lots of testings on the servers to look at the cost of running it. What we do know is that we'll be more competitive than the likes of the Makes of this world and Zappiers and so forth. But because you've got, eventually there'll be such a high level of automation in an organization, we've just got to make sure that we have run the testing on what the costs are to run the servers on these things at a pretty high level. So pricing to follow. So thank you for those also have submitted to be part of that program. And some people have had some meetings already, but there's and we'll communicate to everyone properly, whether you're in the first cohort or in a future one. Thank you for the submissions. We'll be able to scale this up a bit faster with some new team members joining, which is happening in the upcoming weeks around the AI automation integration engineers, because we need to be able to give you the time you need to help you set up those automations. So it could be that we extend out for a few people a little bit longer as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Next week, I'm going to be in Barcelona at a conference, and I think I may end up being on a plane at the time that's coming back. So next week's episode 34 will be released on YouTube on February the 21st, 2025 at 7 a.m., same time. It'll be a pre-recorded session just in case I'm on a plane. So just giving you a heads up now. We'll make sure we email that through to you and let everyone know. Well, keep scaling those businesses and helping your people to exceed. Thank you so much for being here for Flow Friday, and looking forward to catching you either recorded or live next week, but definitely the following week. Looking forward to seeing you live as well. Have an amazing weekend. See you all soon. Bye for now.